The fields are always wet with rain. After a summer shower, when I saw you standing in the garden, wet with rain.
Hi, Mark Cram for SpicingUpYourLife.com. Well, it's the 22nd of May, and it's been a while since we've been in our garden. A lot of things have changed, so let's get started and take a look. Well, you can see that the garden has progressed quite a bit since the last time we were here, and we're very pleased. It's been a wonderful spring, and so far the weather's been great, and so let's go in the garden and just take a look. Well, we'll start over on our herb side of the garden, and you can see the feverfew is just beautiful right now. It does have a tendency to kind of take over, but it is very beautiful while it's blooming. And pineapple sage has just gotten huge. We've had to cut it back some just to allow the tarragon down here to actually have some room to spread out a little bit. So, and we've got to cut back some of this feverfew as well to give it some light. And then the bee balm is, again, back here in the back, certainly will be blooming soon. And then behind that is this wonderful cilantro that has come up, and it's just a pretty white flower. Really enjoying that. So let's go in the garden and see what's happening. All right, so you can see the garden is developing quite nicely. We've gotten a couple of meals of green beans already off of the bush beans, and pretty much every day now we'll be able to be picking some of that. Last night we made a wonderful vegetable soup. We used a bunch of the beets and the beet greens for that. They've been lovely. Our peppers, we've got 3 what are called Hole moles. They're going to be a dark mole colored pepper. We're interested, that's our one kind of experiment this year, although all 3 peppers are new. These 3, I think this is the pepper Pinocchio, so it's more of a like a cayenne pepper, but we're going to try that. It's a new variety. And then an atris, which is a sweet pepper, which is in the back here. So we're going to see how that is for us. In the front of the garden here, we've got our Thai basil. We've got some more dill that has volunteered. And then our tomatoes, which, again, we've planted at various times. We've got the 2 in front here, which are Bonnie Originals. Behind them, the bigger 2 back in the back there are the Better Boys, which were the first tomatoes that I put in the ground. And then we've got in front a grape tomato, a single grape tomato that we planted, and that's Sandy's recommendation for that. And then we have some celebrities, which again, developing very nicely. And then in the front we've got a couple of Roma tomatoes, which were our last 2 tomatoes that we planted. So hopefully we'll have those. We've got this mass here is summer squash, and it's extremely profuse. But we've got a spineless beauty, which is a zucchini kind of squash, and then we've got an Italian squash, a Magda, which I like the flavor of it, and at least last year, and so we're going to try that again. And then somewhere in the front here are some cucumbers that we planted, and again, we'll see how those come out here. And then, you know, we've got the red Malabar spinach, which has popped up all over the garden, and our red raspberries, which again have spread quite nicely, and I think we're going to have quite a nice crop of red raspberries as the summer goes on here. So that's the vegetable part of the garden, and then of course we've got flowers in the back here, which we'll go back and check out because they have also come along nicely. Wild hibiscus, which again, is I'm coming up in various spots, and I think it will certainly start to take over back here over time, which is fine. We're covering that, and we've got a dahlia here that's coming up, and roses which are coming back. The bachelor buttons have spread out throughout the garden a little bit, which is also nice. Then we have on this side some more bachelor buttons and the zinnias that we planted, and again hoping to keep this clean so that we can have those be visible. My biggest fear is all of these red raspberries that are going to kind of take over here. Something in the middle here is our Hawaiian hibiscus, which again is getting a little bit buried through all of this, and so we're a little concerned there, but everything all in all, I think we'll be able to keep the garden looking very, very nicely. So let's head over to the other side of the garden and see how sandy. So we can see that our lemon tree, as my fears that it wasn't going to come back are unfounded, as it's really taken off, and in fact there's a myriad of blooms on it, so maybe we'll have a few more lemons on it this year when we get to that point. The bees are loving it, and it smells wonderful. Our gardenia, we're getting past it, but boy, it was loaded with flowers, and they smell so good. And at night, especially when the wind calms down and you can sit on the deck and just smell the wonderful fragrance from the gardenias. And of course, we've removed the deer netting, and this side of the garden is really looking very, very nice. The colors are beautiful. This last Saturday, Sandy's birthday party out here, actually everything was peak. The daylilies especially, and they're starting to wane a little bit now, but they were really beautiful. And I think this the other side here, you can kind of get a glimpse of the color and the variation, and all that side of the garden really has taken off. And we're seeing our ivy coming along very nicely, and again we've got our dahlia here that keeps coming back, and probably need to split this dahlia come next year because it's really starting to take over this side of the garden here. We have a smaller dahlia over here, and I'm not sure even where it is. It's supposed to be over here, but I don't see it at the moment, so maybe it has not lasted through the winter. But you can see that the deer have actually stayed out of the garden. I'm not sure whether somebody's feeding them someplace else, but we're happy for that eventuality. Thanks again for spending your time with us. For SpicingUpYourLife.com, this is Mark Cram. See you next time.